Yeah, technology is very essential because ultimately it shapes how humans act, right? Because tools are essential in our everyday life. So the way that they're designed and the way that they function is important because it changes how humans behave and how we interact among each other. And so cypherpunks realize that there's certain principles in the creation of tools that are quite important, right? And that's ultimately the sovereignty of the end user. That the end user is free to inspect the tools that he's using and improve them, and where he's not forced to share more information about himself than is actually required. And so this type of mindset allows us to build tools that are ultimately more secure and easier to use and more reliable.
What kind of strategies are you seeing are having most success?
Well, ultimately the provision of services where the service provider has no knowledge of the customer, right? Where there's simply encrypted traffic being passed along and still useful value add being provided without the end user having to compromise exactly who he is or where he is. So this is especially quite used and applied in cryptocurrency, of course, and marketplaces, etc.
So are we talking sort of like as a strategic approach, for example, creating pseudonyms or avatars that are representative of your digital self, external of your analog self, so you can do your business and take your services online without having to expose your analog real world self to a certain extent?
Exactly, right? It's to be able to choose in which way you want to present yourself to others. So that goes in terms of nicknames or profiles or just the topics that you want to focus on. And we do that all the time. Even now the way that we speak to each other is quite different than how you would speak to your wife. And this is just now possible to be able to express securely in cyberspace as well.
And who are you seeing as the sort of the customer for these types of services primarily? Because obviously we've had over the years we had these Snowden leaks, then Assange and the Cambridge Analytica. A number of times the general public have been made aware of how their data has been abused by some corporation, probably governments as well in other countries. So I'm just kind of curious, like who if these solutions are out there, who's actually adopting them at this stage, and is there a plan to sort of go? Is it even necessary indeed to go broader than those that just require them because they have an specific interest in that kind of tech solution?
Well, I think ultimately the privacy is a very fundamental human part of the existence, and so that everyone has an interest to use technologies that preserve privacy ultimately. Now, many might not realize or have a different priority for the extent of privacy, but I think that when there is an option for using a service while remaining more private, that this is going to be quite commonly used basically by anyone. Right? Like your family conversations, you don't necessarily want to broadcast to the entire world, obviously, so when there are private and securely encrypted groups available, everyone will use this just to talk to your mom, that is privacy is a very far-reaching scope that can be used by anyone.
Yeah, just on the surface, it just seems like most people, the majority of users of online services or even platforms, don't tend to put much mind on it as a kind of feature, right?
Yes, that's true. There's other things that might be more enticing, but ultimately it is an important part, and it might not be a critical important feature for everyone, but it doesn't have to be. But it is a critical feature for some people, and so therefore it's crucial that there is technology available for people who truly rely on secure systems that cannot be compromised. Oftentimes depending with their life on the security of such systems, it is crucial that this tech is available.
I assume you're familiar with DAOs in the crypto space. Are you aware of any sort of successful DAOs operating?
One example might be the BISQ DAO, the BISQ. It's a decentralized exchange built on top of Bitcoin with multi-signature technologies. And they also have a DAO with a governance token to vote on decisions and pay out contributors. And I don't have many inside details, but from the outside it does seem to work and sustain the project. So there is certainly success cases already, and we're at the very early stages of this technology where we're still experimenting a lot and building the technology to automate and fine-tune these decisions.
Could these products be maturing faster? What's slowing them down in your opinion? It seems like we're not that early, really. But I mean, maybe I'm underestimating the timeline.
I mean, these are just extremely difficult problems, right? Humans have tried to produce a good monetary system for a long time, and it's just bloody difficult. And Bitcoin is a great, approach and solution to the problem. However, still the nuances and the fine-tuning and improving of the system is quite difficult. So here we will need decades further of work to build the system out. Similar to the internet. The internet stack isn't finished, right? We haven't stopped working on the internet. It's still a lot of impactful and meaningful improvements that need to be done and that are being done. It's just that we can specialize and build on top of these systems, and we'll no longer need to worry about the underlying infrastructure. So there is a lot of progress, but a lot more will need to be done.
In the regular world, we have this inefficiencies in democratic governments, and it's argued often that dictatorships are heaps more efficient and can move decision-making faster and evolve faster and address issues. In DAO structures or cooperatives that are built on blockchains and what have you, are there mechanisms in place to prevent the emergence of hundreds, if not thousands, of micro-digital dictatorships? So do you see a risk in that up ahead over the next 10, 20 years, as opposed to these idealized collective type cooperatives?
Well, dictatorships might be able to move fast if the goal that is being set and the strategy to that goal is roughly correct or good enough. Then sure, forcing everyone to be part of that strategy might be more efficient. However, it's of course the big problem of what if the goal or the strategy is not the best one, right? If there are better alternatives. And in a dictatorship there is no negative feedback mechanism that gets you on an alternative path that might actually be much more beneficial. And so here's where the free market might be more chaotic, with exploring more strategies that ultimately are not that great. But with this, you find a couple strategies that ultimately are near perfect. And this feedback mechanism is what the free market really is good at. And in cyberspace, there are no monopolies. Right? Nobody can stop you from creating a new DAO or launching a new currency. The ability for new market participants to provide a service is limitless, right? And that means that we have a very flourishing ecosystem of new companies, new projects starting, trying to solve certain problems, and most of them fail. Some of them actually do succeed, and ultimately the entire ecosystem moves on and improves gradually but steadily.